It's day 90 today, and as you can see, I'm still in my pyjamas. I had my third round 5 or 6 days ago, and it really took me to hell and back. It's just been such a muddly week. I got my pills out the night before, ready to take my anti-nausea pills an hour before I had my round, and driving into the hospital I suddenly remembered that I hadn't taken them. But it wasn't such a big deal because my bloods had been so bad the week previously that I had to have blood tests done before my round to see if that my neutrophils had come back up high enough to have it. So I knew that I could just get another script for anti-nausea pills. I had to wait for an hour for the blood test to come back. So I got in there, and that actually they were in a bit of a meeting when I arrived, and I said, oh look, I'm here, and they said, yep, that's great, have a seat. And they actually forgot about me, and all these other people were coming in to get their blood tests, and I'd said to 2 or 3 of the other nurses, hey, what about me, and I need to have my bloods, and oh, yep, yeah, we know, yep. And a whole hour went by, and I was still sitting there, and I was starting to get quite agitated by the stage, because I really wasn't looking forward to the round at all. And finally they said, oh, yep, we'll do that. And I said, look, I haven't taken my pills. And they said, oh, not a problem, we'll get you those. And then went and got me some, and they gave me some pills. And I remember thinking then, oh, I don't think this is enough. But I'd been so rushing around. We've got problems with Madeline at the moment. She had gained 2.4 kilos in fluid. Her dialysis supplies hadn't arrived. And because there'd been a wharfie strike up in Auckland, her supplies were stuck on the wharf in Auckland. They were trying to air freight out dialysis supplies, and we were getting down to her last few days, and she was getting fluid overloaded, and it was just getting all too much. So anyway, they did my bloods and told me to go away for an hour and come back in an hour's time and see if they were good enough to start my chemo. So I did. I came back an hour later, and they still hadn't come back. Another half an hour later, and they still hadn't come back. And finally, yep, we got them sorted, and I had my round of chemo. But it was just so higgly-piggly. I had about 3 or 4 different nurses come in and do different bits of it because they were just juggling around so much. It really wasn't a really pleasant experience, I've got to say. And so I just went straight home and just went straight to bed. I was absolutely shattered. I was tired before going in anyway. And when I woke at about, I don't know, late afternoon, I suddenly realised that they hadn't given me enough anti-nausea pills. And I rang through to them and said, hey, and they said, oh, you better take some now. So I took some extra ones, but by 7 o'clock that night, I just started vomiting, and that was it for about the next 2 or 3 days. I just vomited anything, even the smell or the look. Adam could come in the room with a glass of water, and that would be enough just to trigger me off, and I couldn't eat, drink, do anything. And it got to the point where 3 days later, I just about went stir crazy and tried to get in the car and drive away, but I have no recollection of doing it. I fainted a few times. I've got a couple of bumps on my head where I've just collapsed. And then finally, yesterday in the morning, I said to Adam, I think you better take me in. And he took me into the hospital, and they just pumped me full of fluids, and they just constantly came at me with so many different needles and injections. And I said to them, I've got a PICC line. They said, no, these need to go into your skin. And I said, is this going to hurt? And they said, yeah, the state you're in, it doesn't matter what we do, we're going to be hurting. And yeah, they did. They were really revolting and stingy, but I was just oblivious to it. I remember at one stage just curled up on the bed and just saying to them, just let me die. I don't want to do this anymore, just let me die. It was just so bad. And one of the doctors came in and started asking me questions, and the nurse said to him, I don't think she's going to talk to you. I don't think she's very talkative at the moment. And I just remember whispering, just let me die. I don't know if I can do this anymore. So I spent the day in hospital. I got home late last night, and I haven't got out of bed. I've got enough energy to breathe, walk between the lounge and the bedroom. Slowly starting to eat and drink a bit more, but I'm absolutely whacked. It has just drained me like I just can't believe. I just have no energy for doing anything, and because of course they pumped me full of steroids yesterday, sleeping's not really coming that easily. So it's just been really, really rough, and I just am so weak, and just cringing the fact that I've got to do one more round of this, and I'm just thinking, I don't know if my body can do this. Talk about being taken to the brink of death and brought back. That was pretty revolting. So that's just been my last wee while, and I don't know, we'll just take each day as it comes right now and try and get some strength back. But yep, it wasn't enjoyable.